Hello, and welcome to our special report. In a world increasingly marked by geopolitical tensions and regional conflicts, from Eastern Europe to the Middle East, a crucial question arises for many Canadians. Where does our military stand? Today, we're taking a deep dive into the current state of the Canadian Armed Forces' capabilities, its challenges, and its role on the global stage. For decades, Canada has been known as a peacekeeping nation, a middle power committed to diplomacy and collective security. But is that reputation still accurate? And is our military equipped for the realities of the 21st century? Let's start with the numbers. The Canadian Armed Forces currently have around 70,000 active personnel and 30,000 reservists. On paper, this is a capable professional force. However, the military is facing a significant recruitment and retention crisis. Reports indicate a shortage of thousands of troops, with the forces struggling to attract new members and keep experienced ones. This personnel gap impacts everything from operational readiness to the ability to conduct training and maintain equipment. Why are people leaving or not joining? Military leaders and analysts point to a combination of factors. These include dissatisfaction with military life, a slow and cumbersome recruitment process, and a series of culture-related crises that have shaken public and internal confidence. The government and military leadership are actively trying to address these issues, launching new recruitment campaigns and promising deep cultural reforms. But turning the tide is proving to be a slow and challenging process. Now, let's talk about equipment. This is perhaps the most debated aspect of Canada's military readiness. For years, successive governments have been criticized for underfunding and procurement delays. Many of our key systems are aging. Take the Royal Canadian Navy's Halifax-class frigates, for example. While they've undergone significant upgrades, they are decades old, and their replacements, the new Canadian surface combatants, are still years away from hitting the water. The project has faced rising costs and shifting timelines, a common story in Canadian military procurement. Similarly, the Royal Canadian Air Force is in a major transition. After a long and contentious debate, Canada is finally replacing its aging CF-18 Hornet fighter jets with the F-35 Lightning II. This is a massive leap in capability, bringing Canada's air power in line with its closest allies. However, the first jets won't arrive for a few more years, and full operational capability is even further down the road. In the interim, the RCAF must manage its older fleet while preparing for a complex new platform. Air mobility and maritime patrol are also getting upgrades, with new tanker and surveillance aircraft on the way. But again, these are long-term projects. For the Canadian Army, the story is similar. While our soldiers are highly trained and respected by our allies, much of their core equipment, from armored vehicles to air defense systems, is in need of modernization. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has been a stark reminder of the importance of modern artillery, drones, and robust armored formations areas where Canada has identified significant gaps. The government has pledged investments, but the challenge is getting new gear into the hands of soldiers quickly. So, where does this leave Canada on the world stage? Despite these challenges, the Canadian Armed Forces remain actively engaged. We have troops deployed in Eastern Europe as part of NATO's reassurance mission, Operation Reassurance, providing a tangible contribution to the defense of the alliance's eastern flank. Canadian naval vessels regularly patrol the Indo-Pacific, upholding international law and freedom of navigation in a region of growing strategic importance. Our special forces are among the best in the world, and our training missions have helped build the capacity of partner nations. Canada's commitment to alliances like NATO and NLOTN remains the bedrock of its defense policy. Through these alliances, Canada benefits from the collective security provided by its partners, most notably the United States. In fact, our defense is inextricably linked to the U.S. military-industrial complex. Modernizing NORAD to face new threats like hypersonic missiles and advanced cruise missiles is a top priority for both nations. involving billions of dollars in new investment for radar systems and command and control infrastructure. Furthermore, a new and critical domain for the CAF is the Arctic. As climate change opens up northern waterways and access to resources, the region is becoming an area of strategic competition. Russia and China have both shown increased interest and activity in the Arctic. In response, Canada is slowly but surely increasing its military presence and surveillance capabilities in the north, investing in everything from Arctic and offshore patrol ships to better satellite coverage. Defending Canadian sovereignty in this vast and harsh environment is a monumental task that will test the limits of our military's resources and personnel. The federal government has released updated defense policies promising significant new spending over the next 2 decades, aiming to bring Canada's defense budget closer to the NATO target of 2% of GDP. The plan includes billions for new submarines, long-range missiles, and cyber warfare capabilities. However, a promise of funding is not the same as delivered capability. The military procurement system in Canada has historically been slow and fraught with political and industrial complexities. Turning these promised dollars into actual soldiers, ships, and planes on time and on budget will be the ultimate test. In conclusion, the Canadian Armed Forces are at a critical crossroads. They are a professional, dedicated force with pockets of world-class excellence, but they are stretched thin. They are grappling with a serious personnel shortage, operating aging equipment, and navigating a notoriously slow procurement system. At the same time, they are being asked to do more in a world that is less stable and more dangerous. The path forward involves not just massive financial investment, but also deep, meaningful reforms to military culture and the processes that support it. The decisions made today will determine whether Canada can continue to be a credible and capable partner on the world stage for decades to come. The men and women in uniform are ready to meet the challenge, but they need the tools, the numbers, and the support to succeed. Thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on the state of Canada's military? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this report informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the issues that matter. We'll see you next time.